Hey everybody, how's it going?
Yo, we live. Yay!
Yeah. Hey everybody.
Is there anybody here?
Is there anybody here?
Let me see. Y'all on
How
here?
y'all doing?
Piph just asked if we on.
Everyone's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, looking for the comments.
I'm sharing to everything now.
Cool. Thank
We
you.
got 6 folk on here. Six.
Hey
folk.
everybody. Hey, do me a favor, jump in the comments and wave or something so I can know who here. I always thought it was weird when people did this on videos, but now I see why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And let us know if you can hear us okay. If you hear me clap once, hey Yvonne.
That's heard.
Hometown. Get down.
And we live on.
Yeah. I hope everyone is well. Mercury is trying to kick mine behind,
You
but
said Hercules, what now?
Hercules got her micro braids in, and she's trying to take me down through there. But God,
They coming out
amen,
though. She doing this.
is still on the throne. Her, can you hear us real good? Oh, hey everyone. We're not gonna be before you long.
It's 17 people on that thing.
Hey everybody.
Y'all don't judge me. I'm gonna look down from time to time.
Chrissy P. Chrissy.
I can hear y'all.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you.
Nice.
Am I gonna need my fan for a live broadcast? It has been a hot day today. I'm not going over there.
Why you sound like Leslie Jordan?
I'm country. I'm from the South.
Are you though?
Really?
Okay, you're from the South.
I'm about to say if I'm not
You're
from
from
the
the
South,
nice part of the
if
South.
I'm not from the South, then I graduated in 2010.
We got 26 people live. Cause we live.
Mm-hmm. Who are you?
There's 29 now. I went to college, so leave me
And
alone.
what college did you go to, friend?
Huh?
Oh, okay. We're doing that. He's so humble.
I ain't gonna know where nice.
Okay. I'm gonna leave that where it is. We have some illustrious colleges represented here today. Stanford University is waiting in the queue. Vandy is here.
And they in the comments.
Vandy is here with the holiday vibes, and I was lucky enough to go to the illustrious University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. Go Hogs. Well, church evangelist, I'm finna. Church administrator, I'm the evangelist. I'm about to get this thing popping. Good evening, everyone's. I am Bijou.
I'm Wood.
And where's my performance? I'm not singing tonight. I'm gonna perform by talking on tonight. My bad. And we are the co-hosts of a podcast called Why We Hate Church Folk. We know the name is controversial. Just give us a listen, check us out. We tagged the pod in the poster that we
So I was just wanting to say,
earlier.
Let's just tell them real quick, what does Why We Hate Church Folk mean? Because just go on, because I get the question a lot. Go on, let them know.
So, hey, babe. So, a few things. Why We Hate Church Folk. First and foremost, most importantly, I want you guys to remember this tonight. Why We Hate Church Folk is a podcast that asks the questions and provides just about none of the answers. That's number one. Number two, Why We Hate Church Folk is not about hating Jesus or hating Christians or even hating church.
Or people.
My personal definition of church folk is people who feel entitled to your time, your talents. I mean, a huge chunk of your time, your talents, your money, your life, because you've joined a chapter of their social club. And we tackle that on the show. Feel free to give it a listen before you try to cancel us because we hate Christians. We are Christians. Actually. And yeah, so that speaks for itself. We're on you like the shirts? They're actually our merch. Anyway, we're here to talk tonight. For those of you who are from Little Rock or from the Little Rock area, which we both are.
Born and raised.
Born and reared. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Wood had an incident the other day at a local BOB, and I don't even. I mean, the video has been circulating. You can see it if you want to. It's definitely on his page. I'm not going to say the name of the business, although it's very public. I'm just not going to say it just because I don't feel like it.
That's fair.
Had an incident at a local black-owned business, and I guess I can let you take it from here.
So, um, hey everybody. So I want to talk about it real quick, because we have a overarching idea for this show. This particular incident caused us to want to talk about some other things. So the real Reader's Digest version of it is this. I went to a black owned business 2 nights ago. I was outside. Um, I was getting ready to walk in, and if you seen the video, you saw the sign that said only 2 people at a time. There was actually another gentleman in there. He had on a mask. I was getting ready to walk in, and he said, "Hey, partner, only one person at a time." So I stayed outside. I waited. I went in after he left. Um, and you saw the video where the sign was already up. I actually watched him put the sign up with that said servicing whites only. I walk in and I'm getting ready, and as I'm walking in, another gentleman comes in behind me. So we're 2 people. We both have masks on. He says, I get ready to order. He says, I'm not serving you tonight. I said, why not? And and as you see with the video when he talks about I'm only serving white people, I laugh a little bit because I'm thinking he's joking. And then he's like, no, I'm not joking. And then he puts up the sign. I said, oh, he's not joking. So let me record because I'm like, I don't know where this is going. I record, you start hearing it. And I want to, so the reason I talked about the mask thing is because somebody else responded to what I put and said that he was mad because somebody came in not wearing a mask. This person or these people weren't there, so they don't know. So I had on a mask. Next thing I want to talk about is a lot of people got mad because they were saying that I was trying to tear down a black business, and that is not the case. I was not, I should have said a black owned business, but that's neither here nor there. I was not tearing down all black owned business. I actually went to another black owned business earlier that day where I had excellent service. Um, but anyway, the reason I filmed it is because he started making crazy chants. You heard him saying y'all should be killed and all these crazy things, and then he pulls out a gun. Now let me say this: he did not pull a gun on me. I'm not saying that because you can clearly see he did not pull a gun on me, but he did pull a gun out. He was clearly under the influence of alcohol or something. And so what I was saying, I posted that video because I wasn't trying to shut his business down because if you want to go there, by all means, go eat the food, whatever. I'm not going back because anybody that has ever had a gun, has ever went through a gun class, knows 2 things about guns. You do not pull a gun out unless you're ready to kill
Take
someone.
someone's life.
That's number one. And number two, you do not hold a gun up and around. You always hold it down with your finger off the trigger unless you're getting ready to take someone's life. Prepared to do that. So you hear me say, oh shit. I turn my phone out and I walk out. I walk out the door and I'm asking the guy behind me, hey bro, you coming with me? He did not. He walks up and the man actually takes his order. So that is the real story. I did not try to get him shut down. And I did not record that to get him in trouble. I recorded it because I need you to understand that there's a person there that handles guns irresponsibly, talks to people crazy, and you could possibly get hurt there if he's not handling his guns properly. So with that information, if you like to go there, by all means, you know now what you're walking into.
So for me, we've talked a lot about specifically for those of you who are on Twitter or on social media a bunch. We've talked a lot lately during everything that's going on about cancel culture,
Mm-hmm.
about people being responsible, about Black Lives Matter, about taking black men taking care of black women, about trans lives, about
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQ, like about making these pockets of safety for so many people. And my one of my biggest questions was, where's the accountability? You don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily feel comfortable to call the police
Mm-hmm.
in a situation like that.
Right.
I don't necessarily feel comfortable, and
There was
but
no
I'm not
reason.
judging anybody who would call the police.
But I didn't feel like it was necessary. I didn't, like I said, he didn't hold a gun up at me. There was just poor gun ownership. You know what I mean? Poor handling of the gun. So I didn't want to. There was no reason. I wasn't turning into a Karen basically because I wasn't on the threat.
At the same time, at the end of the day, a a person went minding their own merry business,
Right.
you, the person,
Right.
and has had a gun brandished in front of them at an establishment, and it's us.
Right.
So we here tonight to talk about family business. We want to hear from you, but we also want to hear from our really good friend, uh, Big Piph. So let
Big
me
Piff.
invite him on here.
Mm.
Let me see how I do that. Church administrator.
I don't know how to have these newfangled devices you cheering be having.
Lord, I'm looking for my mouse. It's right here.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Tree. Looking like I'm finna block you. Tree said, I mean, that's nothing on there is
Don't do
funny.
it. Don't
That's
lie.
not even funny.
Go on up.
I knew how to do it on my Celica phone.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
You think that's it?
Nope. That is not it. That is not it.
That ain't it.
Let me see. Let me see.
Here, you do.
Thank you.
Anywho, so
You talk while
yes, our buddy Piff. So I'm just curious as a black person, as a I mean, I can't speak to it as a man. I know as a woman, if I were to go to a restaurant and somebody pulled a gun on me, I feel like that would be a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw a commentary in this situation that was very much to the contrary. Like it's he's he's just like that, or suck it up. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's not a big deal.
Oh, it's definitely a big deal.
So
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to. I mean, hold on. You do. You keep talking.
yeah, I really want to hear from you guys. Tell who to comment, Nisha. I wasn't I didn't go to the business, and I was really looking forward to eating from there. Actually, I've heard that their food is prolific.
Mm-hmm.
As I was,
What is I doing wrong?
well, it's newfangled stuff on there now. What's that? Well, it ain't doing that.
See what that is.
I'm really curious. Like, do you go back and support? Do you?
I'll tell her come Piff. She said Piff. Comment Piff. Say something so we can add you to the thing.
Is that how we do it?
Mm-hmm. Are you on here? Check it out. It's on. I'm watching. Okay. He said he watching, so.
Hey, Gerald. Miss you so bad.
Sure.
And I'm so jealous of your produce boxes every week. I'm trying to
I've
find
tried
one
to get a
around here.
beard like his, but mine turned gray.
I was about to say, what do his look?
It's black.
I was about to say
it's better.
Oh, okay.
It's better in some ways.
It's beardy.
I don't think it's as long.
They all look the same to me. So I really do want to hear from y'all. Like, what are your thoughts? Exactly. Do you ban your drunk uncle from the barbecue? In my humble opinion, I think for the safety of everybody in the family, don't we have an uncle who can get him together? You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. I want to talk about that. So here's what was funny to me about the whole situation. You go through the comments, and it's funny to me because his family was in the comments talking about, hey, this guy, this is his thing, and one gentleman even said it was sad. It was sad. He was like, that's what I get for fucking around with family for 20 years. Now I'm 40 and I don't have anything to show for it. So this isn't an isolated thing. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like he's done this, you know what I mean? And everybody, and the thing of, um, um, the thing about it is a lot of people were in the comments, even the ones that were defending him were like, well, yeah, but that's just what he do. Like that means it's wrong. Like if this isn't funny, like if that's just what he does. And one lady was like, well, Well, but you're exploiting him because he you're exploiting him, and I'm like, how am I exploiting? Well, clearly I've been going there for years, and he clearly, you see, he has a mental illness. So my thing is, you have went there for years, 2 to 3 times a week. You see that this gentleman has a mental illness, and your thing was to comment on mine when I doing something to warn people to say that he has a mental illness. So you didn't do your job. You just wanna be out there talking. And then I had another person who recorded the video, screen recorded it, didn't say anything about it, which I don't care about necessarily the credit. I'm just like, but you took the video, made it your own. You knew it was me. You could have just shared the video and said, I want you to comment on it. You didn't. And then I actually later on watched said live because I was gonna go on it, but then I was like, and this person talking about, oh well, all I saw was just a hurt man.
Once again, I think that both sides are important. I don't take anything away from both sides. At the same time,
Oh, thank you,
where's the
Dre.
accountability?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't.
You shutting the fuck up on this one, Vaughn? Why is that? Maybe he needs to pass the business.
Good evening. How's it going? Thank you so much. I'm about to put you on the show.
It's on my page, Marcella. Jared Woodley. It's like the
Yes. Well,
third
I'm going
thing
to
I
put you on
posted.
speaker, and we're going to do that like that. Everybody can hear me talking.
Yeah.
Yep. Here I go. Everyone, put your dirty hands together. It's Big Piph, baby. Thunderous applause. Hey, Piph.
What's going down? How y'all doing?
Hey, somebody let us know if you can hear Pip.
He right there.
He right there on the thing.
You didn't see the video? Which is fine. It's tagged on Wood's page, so
yeah,
it's there for you to see. I'm gonna read these comments on the segment. So Piph, thank you so much for joining us. Let's see. I didn't pull your bio out in front of me, but you were before the COVID, a very well traveled teacher of hip hop, community builder, cloud architect. We would ask you to be our president, but we don't deserve you. Thank you so much for jumping on here.
The country needs some time by itself.
Cool. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing a podcast. I'm like 3 episodes back.
Only 3. Praise God.
Disrespectful.
We're glad that anyone listens to it. So I wanted to, I know I've talked a lot because I have a lot of feelings because I know how this would play out if it had been me instead of Wood behind the camera. But as Black men, like what we supposed to do when family is out here messing up like that?
So it's interesting. I actually really wanted to disagree with Wood with this GP, but actually I think I'm on a similar mindset because I didn't know the whole story to explain. I started watching the video, so it's kind of like from the beginning when he went in there to the end, it was like enough warning check boxes, and also it wasn't like he's saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not like he's saying cancel this dude, don't go to business ever, so on and so forth. It's more like you say, hey, this is my experience, and this is what troubles and concerns me. Y'all can make the call off that, right?
Exactly. That's why I didn't put any wording in the description. I just said I tried to support a Black Business Day, and yeah. So, and you make the decision how you want to deal with that from there. So, yeah, it wasn't a cancel thing. So.
Yeah. So I mean, it seems like your intent was to warn because if something would ever go wrong and you did it, you gonna feel some type of way or have a finger pointing at you because you knew the information. So I mean, if people understand, they see, they've known this, or if they didn't know, now they're aware, and they still want to solicit the business, then that's kind of on them. I mean, I don't think we always have to exist in this similar mindset for being a diverse people. We can make our own decisions off that. We just need to make wise ones. And also from there, just gotta. I believe in accountability, just in keeping it more so family business as opposed to like as much as possible before going to the outside to get any type of input, how to do it, handle it ourselves. So I mean, yeah, I'm not sure, man. Like once you explain the whole story, when you came in there and the responses and the sign on the window and everything else, I'm not sure what else you're supposed to do. So if that's the route you chose to do, your intention was to warn or make people aware, as opposed to like, what I think some people are saying like exploit or get likes. If your intent was to warn and be cautious, tell people to have caution, and once you're in the house, you're supposed to react off that.
Yeah, and that's all I was saying. And I just, I feel like people came in and were really like, so obviously we have a religious tilt to our podcast, so I want to go into that part of it. It almost seems like through religion we have been trained to forgiveness equates no accountability, right? And to sweep it under the rug and forget. Like it's like people say you haven't forgiven unless you've forgotten. And I'm like, that does not make sense to me.
Hard disagree.
Yeah, like, you can't, I can forgive you and still be like, okay, I forgive you. I won't do anything to you and I'm moving on with my life. But I'm not going to put myself in a position to be hurt again. That doesn't make sense to me. And that's why I felt like this was like, oh, well, you shouldn't say anything. Just go talk to him and pretend like it never happened, And no, people need to be held accountable. I'm sorry, Pip, I know you're trying to talk. Go ahead.
No, no. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. So I really only know like 6 Bible verses, and I like bunch of all them jokes in my favor. But isn't one of them talking about like, and I'm gonna use this in reference to this versus other stuff. Isn't one of them like, reach out to your brother and let them know, and if they don't respond, then come down to them twice, whatever it is. You know it.
Yeah, it's like a 3-step process. You go to your brother, and then you take an elder, and then you take him in front of the church. And then my favorite part is where you can shake the dust off your feet and leave him where he at.
Right. And now, so I think the difference with this one is that you actually, there could have been like some harm involved, right? So it's kind of a different thing on that one. It's not just like they slided you. You kind of giving people caution in case there may be an issue, a larger issue. So in general, though, man, like for most businesses, I have a homegirl kind of really emphasizes all the time. Like a lot of times, we'll talk about customer service and it's like put somebody on blast. Now that's kind of where I have like more of the issue on because it's like if you're gonna put them on blast, at first it's kind of like reached out to them like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like you had your customer service, so I didn't have a good experience here. Can we do something else? I just want to make you aware versus put them on blast. And I think a lot of times we try to put people on blast way too quick, as opposed to just reaching them on the cool and just like, hey, this is the experience I had. I just want to let you know because I want you to succeed type stuff. And I think for me, that's kind of where the religious bent comes in, and just in the community building bent is if the intent is to like for them to succeed, is that the best way to put it on blast? Which is not what I say in this case. Because once again, your reasoning was different, which makes sense. But
so I want to read this. I want to read this comment right here, and I definitely agree with that. So Lanisha says, "It appears you're being taxed double because you're a black man sharing your experience at a black establishment, but homeboy should be held accountable. If it were the other way around, you'd be expected to take accountability." And that's really why I was so gassed and geeked to get on here. It's probably not safe to say this, but I'll say it anyway. I'm an Aquarius. I have actively participated in cancel culture my entire life. If I don't like something, I will simply ignore it as if it doesn't exist anymore. That is my modus operandi. It's just intrinsic to me. It don't take nothing. I'm not necessarily calling for the canceling of this man's business. He has several locations, and I have heard nothing but the best about his products. What I am saying, this is my philosophy about forgiveness and accountability. If you were to shoot my brother, I only have two, and each of them are individuals. So the one I lost is the one I lost. I can never get him back. I will pray for you as you serve your time. Sometimes I will bring you socks and some ramen noodle money for your commissary, but I can forgive you and you still go to prison. Like you can, well, I mean, you can, you can you can suffer the consequences of doing something negative and still receive love. That's I don't think that those things are mutually exclusive. And to Piff's point, I'm a huge proponent as somebody who used to work in quote unquote corporate America, somebody who's worked a lot of customer service. if I walk into somewhere, which I have, I walk into a little wing shack and the girl working the counter is on the phone eating her gum like it's been in her mouth for 6 hours and just ignoring me, I'm gonna call back and speak to a manager, but I'm not gonna be like fire that person. And I would go another further, specifically if they're local, because I live in Conway. If they're in Conway, I'd be more than happy to come down there and offer some bartered customer service training. I want some chicken. It's not free, but I will come down there and help your employees out for chicken. Like I really don't mind helping a black business. I wish I was just posturing. I'm not going to get on here and list the things that I've done for black owned businesses, but I have definitely offered in kind and pro bono over for the better part of the decade to help black businesses thrive and stay open because that's what I'm about.
That's a good comment. Socks more. Uh, my pastor, C. Dennis Edwards, preached on forgiveness many moons ago and stated, "You should forgive people, but you should not forget." We remember Jesus was killed every Easter, but he did forgive those because they didn't know what they did, or they did know what they did, and he still forgave them. Um, I was gonna say, and I'm Marshall. You made a comment. I'm gonna paraphrase real quick. He was drunk this time in the past 20 years and could have been playing, but all it takes is one time for him to be serious. And so both of y'all were talking about, well, go back to the company and talk. But what if it's the owner? You know what I mean? Like he the man.
I mean, if I understand correctly, he is the owner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's the man. So who do I? What I'm saying is, if he's the one that's belligerent, what other power do I have to go to other than his bosses, which are the people?
And my life is in no danger because I'm not going back.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Piph.
I'm sorry, my bad.
No, you.
Yeah, now your situation, like, I don't know what else you should or you have, like, supposed to do. But keep in mind, yeah, I mean, you went to the owner, this situation happened, you did what you did, and give people the heads up. But, I mean, ain't no, like, if you choose to do some more, salute to you, man. But if you don't, salute to you, bro. Like, ain't no other moves you really got to make on that one. I mean, I don't know what the chief goal would be for that one. It's kind of like it's known, people know it, the guy knows it, so it's like this is choices. This is choices being made, and the ball's on their court if they want to do something or not. And then real quick, I want to speak on like the whole, both you and me touched on the fact of like forgiving and not forgetting. I always say that's a funny statement. It's kind of like when white folks be like, "I don't see color," and you like, "For real? Like, how do your eyes work?" Like, my eyes kind of like completely register different melanin because that's a biological trait. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the brain remembers stuff. It ain't like you forgive somebody and some magic pixie dust comes down and you just forget everything.
Right. Preaching so good.
It's just like, man, if something happens, you ain't supposed to get like if you have a child and somebody in the street like jump kicking children and you forgive them, you ain't supposed to forget it and then like babysit again. It's just the fact of I think people confuse forgiveness or not confuse but they never learned it. And I don't know, like where actually did forgive or forget come from? That just sounds like colloquialism that got popular.
Well, I think people get forgiveness and enabling mixed up. You know what I mean? Like I'm not I'm gonna forgive you. That doesn't mean I'm gonna enable you to do wrong. You know what I mean? Like when people really said like, well, he been doing that for 20 years, so that's cool. But like if somebody came out and was like, hey, old boy raped your daughter, but it's cool. He been doing that for 20 years. That's just shit he do.
Which happens all the time.
Right.
And depending on where we are in the timeline, it's either okay or it's not okay.
Right.
I would venture to say that if it ain't okay 30 years from now, it's also not okay today. Like what Me Too is all about people's long past faults of doing what everybody else was doing. You can watch episodes of Mad Men and see Don Draper slipping a Mickey, which is a really cute way of describing sexual assault to stewardesses on a plane. It's not even a date. She's on the clock. She's at work, making 60% of what you make to serve you drinks so that you can, sexually assault her while she's at work. And I mean, well, that's just the way things are. I don't think it's okay for things to just be the way they are when it comes to people's lives being in danger. What really blew me and threw me was that I didn't hear enough about saying that some to me the situation as soon as the gun came out was tantamount to assault. Once again, as soon as you pull a gun out, I just feel like I have a reason to actually feel threatened in real life, not like the other way that we normally hear about. I'm not allowed to brandish guns whenever I want, specifically if I don't have a concealed carry. Um, and I don't think that's okay. On the flip side, so our podcast description describes us as two elderly millennials, and it's pretty spot on. When we were coming up, if you wanted to spread your own business, you had to take a photo on a disposable camera, send it off to the drugstore, wait 2 weeks, and then if the film wasn't destroyed,
Right.
you could then circulate photos of some stuff. In this day and age, we share stuff. We share when we
Instantly.
bought some socks. We talk about our groceries and meal prep. We post our booze, give long details about our relationships, and then say nothing when we break up. And sometimes when you see some wild stuff go down in the store, you turn your camera on. Really for two reasons. Number one, because you feel like sharing, but number two, and this one's real important, you now have footage if you got murdered. Okay, like everybody's gonna know what happened as long as you hit publish at some point while well, whatever is happening is happening. And I think it's really wild that it's okay to post a food box. If I bought a box of produce, and it's okay to shoot boomerangs of me on the swings at the park, but it's not okay um, to post a video of me being assaulted at a black owned restaurant during a civil rights movement renaissance. And obviously, black people are not a monolith. People are not a monolith. Social media, most assuredly, is not a monolith. I mean, you find more contradictions on there than you find in houses of government. But here we are. Um, I really, once again, While We Hate Church Folk is a pod that asks the questions and provides almost none of the answers. I really want us to ask ourselves, how do we handle? And I'm going to use colloquialisms here. How do we supposed to handle family business?
Yeah. How do you hold people accountable if every time you try to hold someone accountable, it's well, we shouldn't talk about that, or that happened a long time ago, or it's not that bad, because I'm even guilty of it right now because I'm saying, oh, maybe he didn't actually pull a gun on me, but he did pull a gun, and so where do we draw the line when I post a video that says I'm holding someone accountable? Where do you draw the line to say I we should talk about these things, or this is something we shouldn't talk about, and why do what how do you say where is the where's the starting line, you know what I mean? So like if someone is doing something wrong, where do you say, okay, it's all of this or none of this? Where does that start at, you know what I mean? Because and my other thing is, and I'm gonna say this, I'll probably get in trouble, whatever, I don't care. um I find it funny that this we seem to always, and as stating this as a black man, we always seem, especially when it comes to black people, like we have levels in this shit too, right? Because I guarantee you one other thing, had that been a black woman that did that, I don't think it would have been as many people caping in them comments. I'm just gonna keep it 100
I
with you.
think the only reason why the caping happened is because that man is older than you. But if the dynamic, I think if the dynamic had changed in any way, I think
Mm-hmm.
if a 40-year-old man had pulled a gun on you
Mm-hmm.
at a restaurant, I think it would have been a big deal.
Yeah.
I think that if he had pulled a gun on a woman, if a woman had pulled a gun on you,
Mm-hmm.
and if the person's ethnicity, color, creed, background, race had
Mm-hmm.
changed in any way,
Yeah.
we would have been out there yelling right
Marching.
now.
Yeah, marching. So, do we, and go ahead, Piff. I think he's about to say something.
Yeah, no, I feel all that. I think, cause just kind of always trying to think about, like, and I know the basis of the show is bringing up questions, but then also just on some possible, I guess, solutions and steps.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of, cause first of all, everybody's not about to be trying to figure out how to pull up everybody because it becomes a full-time job that's still
Sure.
going to fall short. So I think a lot of it comes from the sense of trying to maybe manage your circle of influence in your circle. So it's like, hey, I'm involved in this world over here. I will try to hold folks in this circle accountable, right? So like, I'm trash on the mic. Bijou lets me know that. She's trying to let me know, like, hey, you need to go ahead because you need to go ahead and step this up because you're making the community look bad, right? Like we're in overlapping circles of influence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then if you have extra energy for other ones, go ahead and do that. Because the thing is, once everybody kind of takes part in their circle of influence, you kind of can account for everybody. Now, as opposed to me being like, all right, now I need to go talk to this dude, talk to this dude, talk to this dude. But I think a lot of it comes, and the elevation of all comes from just the fact of we let too much stuff slip in our circle of influences because we don't want to, what I'm saying, we don't want to rock the boat or call anybody out. Or we do want to call people out, don't do it from like a place of love or encouragement.
Sure.
It's more so just because of a place of ego and pride. So I think a lot of it, in terms of progress, can come if people learn how to like humbly accept and to humbly give critique, encouragement, and extra effort in just their own circle of influence.
Yeah, and I personally agree. The concept that I'm thinking of when I hear you talking as it relates to this situation is that I think specifically where social media is involved, that exposure can breed accountability. We're not in that man's circle of influence, but and I promise I'm not trying to be funny, but for those of you who know me, I'm a little slick at the mouth. So Wood has a post right before that video that has exactly one like to this day. But the last time I looked at that video, which was early this morning or late last night, it was up to 22,000 views, hundreds of shares. Lots of people have seen the video. Lots of people have put their commentary in. Oh, he's just like that. And I'm hoping that really what comes out of this is that somebody can G check that brother, because what I don't want, he's not going to get me. We don't even live in the same city. We probably don't grocery shop at the same time. And so I'm probably safe from him specifically because I saw this video. But y'all cousins, y'all friends, y'all mamas and daddies will run up in there to grab a little lunch or dinner, and it'd be sad singing and flower bringing. And what do I do? Do I go show up to a candlelight vigil? Y'all been new.
Mm.
You've been new. So I really hope that this exposure breeds accountability, and it be like that sometimes. Some when you do bad stuff, sometimes you get called out, and it's very poignant right now because cancel culture is
super real.
The cancel culture has always been real. Let's be clear. When's the last time you seen Winona Ryder anywhere? Anything, anywhere. There are lots of people who have been canceled, and stayed canceled. And I'm not gonna name our people, but we've definitely canceled people, and and that's that on that. Also, so I saw a lot of comments about mental illness. And I'm going to guess that many of the people who typed that are absolutely not clinicians, and that he's not a client of theirs because that would violate HIPAA and you would, lose your license. We are really quick to be like, oh my God, the mental illness and he's mentally ill. Guys, once again, there's a level of accountability that is involved with mental illness. I don't get to say, oh, my anxiety was really flaring up. And so I looked down at my phone for 1 minute and that's when I got in an accident and killed your entire family. It was my anxiety. Like that stuff is cute until it's personal. So once again, I'm really inviting all of us to ask ourselves, what happens if that was you in his shoes, if it was your cousin, your baby sister, your mom. And I'm glad that Sarah didn't walk into that establishment and that young man brandish a weapon. I'm glad about that.
Cause y'all think the National Guard have been up in this mother.
Literally.
At that point.
Her husband is a guardsman.
Right.
So anyway.
Lanisha, I was gonna ask you a question. You said, "What are you forgiving at this point, brother administrator?" I think I'm basically forgiving the fact that the man put my life in danger. Honestly, I mean, I'm forgiving that he talked very crazy. He pretty much disrespected all black people at that point. And I know that he has had some issues. Like everybody says, well, he's been robbed before, and he's been. I didn't do anything to him though, and you don't get. And if you have had that rough of a day, it's just time to go home at that point. If you're to the point where because none of us, here's the thing, people are like, oh, it's a black owned business or it's he's the owner. What other job could you get mad at, get drunk, cuss everybody out, hold a weapon up, and still think you have your job the next day? There's nowhere.
Unless you're like a politician or you live in Florida.
Also,
go ahead, Tiff.
I'm not sure if I messed up the starting of the screen again. So it's like still talking.
We're in the future.
Right.
That's where you live at.
And y'all might know this better than me. I mean, had the dude on the restaurant responded because, correct me if I'm wrong, the video's been out for like 24 hours.
It has.
Been out for 48 hours and no.
Like, they haven't?
No.
Because you had obviously it's reached them, so I mean, they've had enough time.
No consolation chicken or nothing.
Mm.
And it's like, for real, like he could have finished up a 6 feet hard and hopped on the book and responded or whatever he did do about his time, man. So I mean, that's a choice.
Right.
That's a choice. That's a choice of, hey, either it's a choice of the people who know him and he said some family member came on it and they didn't share it to him, or he's seen it and it's a choice for not to make a response. So I mean, I'm not sure. Like that's like accountability starts with self. And if this has reached him and hasn't responded in 24 hours to a pretty, something that's pretty severe, then I'm not sure. Like, I don't think you have any other responsibility in this or should feel any other type of way of, like, you did your family business. Mm-hmm. Unless, like, you want to pursue anything further, then, yeah, man.
Okay. So, let me ask you and other people, like, how easy is it for you all to forgive? Because, we are taught, like, because I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of us are taught, like, hey, you should forgive and move on, right? And I'm just asking if any of you all were in that situation, how quick would you be to forgive, And would you feel inclined to post that? And what would be your reason behind posting it? Is it, to hold them accountable, to make sure you warn people, or because you like, fuck this bitch ass dude, he put me on blast, he did some stupid shit to me, and I'm gonna put him on blast? So I'm asking y'all, what would be your you, Tiff?
Yeah, I was about to say I'll pop it off. Once again, I have a very forgiving heart. I make excuses for people constantly, and I'm what my therapist calls an enabler. At the same time, I will forgive you, and I will never deal with you again. I will not. I'm not going to go on a campaign. I'm not going to cape against you. But if someone were to ask me, I'm going to be very tentative about making any commentary. They're going to coax it out of me anyway. And then I'm going to, low key regale how you are the juice at the bottom of the movie theater dumpster. And I don't deal with you no more. And that's that on that. So yeah, would I forgive him? Absolutely. But also, I know that I would have posted, I would have rage posted that video. Because, and I know I would have hit submit or finalize, and I would have said, people need to know that this man is not okay. And then, people, you do with that what you will. I'm gonna tell him about a dream. Lanisha says, I've had my car broken into, so I lock my doors and I pay my insurance instead of forbidding people to walk around my car. It's unrealistic.
Yeah, so I guess following that up, man, so for me, most people, like, I feel a pretty forgiving dude. I'll probably take stuff too, like, I'm a little too chill sometimes. And most stuff people do, I don't even care. I don't think about it. I don't tell them about it. And very much like me, it's like, I ain't got to mess you no more. You add no benefit to my life. So what do I care? Like, that's how I look at it.
Why should I care?
they don't. And then there's the people who do have benefit or have had benefit in my life, and then to them, I actually will say something. It's like, hey, this is how I felt violated. It's your call. Then I look at it on their call, how they want to move from that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you have people like it's real personal. It's kind of like work through stuff, whatever. But in a situation like chicken wings, yeah, man. Like, I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know I don't know any different approach than yours, especially because I think you moved out of a point of position of responsibility to others. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, it was like I'm doing this not because I was just violated. Like, I didn't even think that's like this is like a personal offense to me, which it was, but also like, hey, y'all need to know because it's one of those situations where people be like, oh, it's never like it never went wrong. It's like, but it goes wrong once, and then
that's it.
Well, here's the other thing. Because what you talked about earlier about pictures and all that, had I went on there and just said, hey man, they be holding guns at people at chicken wings. First of all, who's gonna believe that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, no one would have seen it.
Nobody would have seen it. But as soon as I posted it, it's real, right? At that point, it's like you can make a decision because now you have information. You know what I mean?
It's just not on. If that man, and I literally mean God forbid, he drops the gun tomorrow and someone gets harmed, including himself. I think you did just about everything you could without actually being Captain Save a B.O.B. owner.
Let me just real quick. Anybody, I guess, is listening. What other options did they say? Because all I heard was just kind of ignore it. But
that was pretty much it.
Like, what other options did people say you should do?
I saw a lot of people saying get him help too, but that was also assuming that he had mental health issues. We don't know.
Well, I think the funny part is a lot of people. I think what we see in society and when it comes to cancel culture and everything is we're very quick to make a decision based on very limited information. And so I saw a lot of people saying you should go talk to the owner. I'm like, he is the owner, but you should talk to the other person. I don't know any other person. And then and you have because a lot of people were calling him Uncle Ruckus, and
which was also that was too much to me.
Right, and a lot of people were saying because they didn't know the situation, because that's also an extreme on the other side. Like I said, because they with limited information, I'm saying, hey, this is what's going on. You know what I mean? And you should handle that accordingly. But I think a lot of people were coming in with the whole, well, you should go talk to the owner. You should go get some help. I really think you should. The other thing was take this down because you're hurting people. That was where.
Let me ask this, because I thought the Uncle Ruckus stuff, this is not the argument for, but I thought that came from the aspect of the whites only aspect. Like, that's what I thought that came from.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and once again, for those of you who know me, I'm a little petty. I feel like if I can ascertain, and this is not supposed to be shade, but I'm shady. If I can ascertain his age, he may have actually experienced whites only restaurants.
Yeah. Very possible.
And if you take any compounded, once again, I'm not a mental health clinician, but if you take any compounded trauma, if you take being robbed, living through the first civil rights movement only to now be a part of the second wave, it stands to reason that he may have some past trauma that could have triggered that, but once again, it's a few things. First of all, if I call a spade, you can get mad at me, your mama, and your daddy, but a spade is still a spade. And you can't tell me how to work through my own trauma. Now, as a woman, that's a totally natural thing to understand more and more these days. But I'm not going to stop going back to this. I don't want to re-victimize Jared. But at the same time, I did not see enough, sorry this happened to you, the same way that we talk about college date rapes, which are probably more common than having a pistol pulled on you at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, that's true. Like, it wasn't too much. That's definitely true. I'm about to put that in the comment.
I mean, you are on the show. So we're about to wrap this thing. I really, really thank you guys for hanging out with us. I have a few church announcements. As we said, we are co-hosts of Why We Hate Church Folk. We didn't do this for promo. We really wanted to come on here and talk. I wanted to hear what people had to say about how do we conduct family business, because we don't want them in our business. They don't ever handle stuff right. But if we be honest, when it's us's, we don't necessarily do it right either. Ooh, Celeste. I'm going to read, I'm going to read this comment, and it says, being drunk and belligerent is not a mental health issue, it is a choice. Exactly. And that's what the comment says.
And as Celeste has told me many a times, I'll mess with a crackhead before drunk, because they get violent.
I am not accustomed to either. From my platform in Brown Streets. We are the co-hosts of Why We Hate Church Folk. It is a podcast that asks the questions. We have just about none of the answers. You can find us anywhere you hear your pods: Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, which is a new app. We're also on SoundCloud. We're everywhere you find your pods. You can also find us on social media. We have a really lit Instagram page, thanks to Church Administrator. And the time is now 7:57 p.m. In 3 minutes, Andrea and Isis are going to be live on their page. They have a podcast as well. It's called Business and Bullshit, or Bullsh-ish, I guess is how I'm supposed to say it. But the two of them and Ann Bam are going to be talking. I think tonight's conversation might be about polyamory. I'm a couple of episodes.
Polycuriosity.
Okay.
It's with, I think, Coogee.
Oh, yeah, from IG. Yeah. So they're going to be talking on their page. I'm actually going to hop over and check them out. So feel free to, I'm going to probably start a watch party just so you guys know where we're at. So Business and Bull-ish will be going live in a couple of minutes. And if you like these little t-shirts that we made or whatever, they are available. You can DM us. They $15, so you don't even have to ask what the cost is.
This is a 2X, so if you're a heavyweight like myself, this is what it fit like.
And I'm not saying my shirt size on here because I feel vain in this moment, but I wouldn't have normally. Once again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
Oh, and you said you gave them all the social medias, right? It's Why We Hate Church Folk at everywhere. So if you want to come check us out,
except for on the Twitter.
Oh, and on Twitter it is Hate Church Folks, because
Jack can only have 13 characters.
Because Jack Dorsey don't know what he's doing over there. Ooh. But anyway, Mr. Whole Zuckerberg and all them, they be supporting Trump. I'm sorry, I wasn't entirely. Go ahead.
So if all hearts and minds are clear, we thank you so much for hanging out with us. May the Lord watch
between me and thee
while we are absent,
one from another.
In Jesus' name.
Amen. And then we can check us out on whywehatechurchfolk.com. It has all the podcast episodes on there. We're 9 in. Season 2 next year. Oh, we got some naked pastor talking.
The naked pastor, not naked pastor.
Oh yeah, he did tell us.
He had all his clothes on.
Yeah, don't put naked pastor in Google. He said it will traumatize you.
The naked pastor. Right. So shout out to him, Solomon, Missouri. Thank you so much, Big Piph. You can find Piph on all social media. His first name is Epiphany, and that makes him easy to find. Also, he's the last comment on here, so that should also help you out.
Yeah, you just click on that.
Yeah.
And buy all his albums and stuff.
Buy every single one of his albums. He has really dope merch. Really, 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 really dope merch. I own just about everything he sells, but he had a couple sweatshirts come out, and he did not inform me, so I was not able to cop those. Boo. And he also has some rippity rap albums, and I sing on some of them. So there's that. So anyway, thank y'all for hanging out. Okay.
Deuces.
Bye.